for clicking on our faces. We are back yet again to discuss Daredevil Born Again, the season finale. As you can see, I'm not here alone. I have my friends here to join me. So let's start off to either my left or right, depending on your screen. We have the great Grand Slam Poobah. How's it going?
I'm bleeding, but I'm okay.
All right, seeing red, feeling red. Very nice.
Well, no, I was going to say it's because my cat cut my leg and I have a slash on my leg, but that's not what y'all guys are here to hear about. So I'm fine.
All right, and right underneath we have Evil Dose joining us from the Garden of Thought podcast. How are you today?
I'm good. I thought that Bad Guy Jack was going to tell us. Well, I'm sorry, the great Grand Slam Poobah in this iteration. I thought he was going to tell us that he got shot in the shoulder.
Hey, Silhouetted Animator. Thanks for joining us.
Not for nothing, that last episode when Matt took the bullet for Kingpin, I would have done it for Kingpin because Kingpin is fantastic.
Listen, we got a little bit of dialogue as to his reasonings, at least the Punisher question, Matt. But we'll talk about. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Before we start the show, please like the video if you like the video, because we are going into our first segment, which is, of course, geek news. Now, ooh. I thought this was very interesting because this was reported by Deadline just, I want to say 2 days ago. Aladdin the Monkey Paw. The Aladdin story gets an unofficial horror movie. Now, if you guys can remember, horror movie. It's going to be a scary Aladdin movie. Now, what's it like? A few years ago, they released that Winnie the Pooh horror movie because it's out in public domain now. I assume now that that's the case for Aladdin. But to give a little summary of apparently what the film's going to be about, says the film synopsis reads: a modern day Londoner, Aladdin, inherits an ancient monkey paw believed to grant wishes, only to discover that every desire comes at a soul crushing price. You can pause the video and read more if you like, but behind that image is supposed to be official image from the movie, so it definitely looks kind of spooky, guys. We should be here for a little horror version of Aladdin.
Why don't you take the floor first, Evil Dose?
Yeah, by the way, that first Pooh, Blood and Honey, was terrible, but the second one was actually pretty good. I mean, I'm not saying it was high quality, but it was a enjoyable, plain old slasher film. So the second one, good. I am sure that this Aladdin is not the Disney version of Aladdin. I mean, of course, the 1001 Arabian Nights are public domain. They're hundreds, if not thousands, of years old. So yeah, why not? I mean, it could be all right. I mean, monkey's paw. I mean, sort of like a genie's bottle, and it extracts a terrible price. Dorian Gray. I mean, this story's been told 1,000 times. Why not one more time with singing princesses?
Hey,
I'm with Evil though. So, Winnie the Pooh, I forget what the name of this horror movie was. I'm not gonna say it was a masterpiece or anything like that, but it was hella funny. I feel like everything is having some kind of horror film to it. So, like, they had that. I don't know if it even came out yet. That Mickey Mouse movie, supposed to be Steamboat Willie or something like that.
They did.
It came out already. Okay.
Yeah, there's a Popeye one also. Popeye the Slayer Man.
There's a Popeye one. What?
Oh, see? Okay. I think it's interesting. I'm here for like a different version of the live actions, because Disney's been doing live action and it's basically just a retelling of the animated that's retold not as well. Right. So if you're going to do it, might as well change it around, flip it around, make it new. So yeah, I like it. I'll be here for it. But let's get into this comment here. Will never happen. But imagine a Pooh-verse SpongeBob film.
Oh, it'll happen.
Eventually, one day.
Just give it about 55 years.
But with that said, we're going to get into full discussion of the finale of Daredevil Born Again. So if you haven't seen it, click off, leave us a like first, click off, and then join us after you watch the video, because this is a full spoiler discussion of the episode. So with that being said, let's get into it. We open up and we have, of course, this is like a flashback between Bullseye and Vanessa. She apparently, scooped him up out the madhouse And for whatever reason, he got off on appeal, even though he's technically, he did it, and he's, clearly insane enough to be put in an insane asylum and not like a prison. But he got off, as did Kingpin. So it is what it is. Later, we also see immediately after the shooting from the last episode, Matt is in the hospital. He's, recovering, clearly dazed. And his little girlfriend, Heather, who he called Karen in the scene. What
Wait,
what did you guys
wait,
think?
no one's ever made that mistake and say another person's name.
Not an ex to your current girlfriend. And she already had like a little inkling of there being something, there. If you remember from like previous episodes, it was like I feel like she's been a little suspicious or a little insecure when it comes to Karen.
Well, this relationship wasn't going anywhere anyway.
Very little chemistry, honestly, between the two.
I think about I forget how many episodes it's been, right? Maybe 4 episodes, but I think about that thing Matt said one time too. I like Heather. I think Heather is a sweet girl. But I think about what he said one time, and he said, "Just don't feel real." And I think he never digged deep into it. He just was like, "You don't feel real" and stuff like that. And yeah, I agree with I agree. Like it doesn't seem like this was ever going anywhere. It was almost like he was trying to fill a void, and it's not filling.
It ain't filling. But Kingpin, he has his, his number one shooter, aka Cashman, telling him to finish the job when it comes to Matt Murdock. He's on his way to the hospital. Fisk is also speaking with Olivia Pope, aka Sheila, and telling her that you need to figure out who's on my side and who's not, and pretty much get rid of them. Now, my question to you guys is, because we find out just later in the episode that she ends up snitching on the commissioner, which ultimately led to his death at the end of the episode. But do you guys think that she knew in this moment that Wilson Fisk was going to, off these other people?
I don't.
I don't think that she ever quite understood the depths of Wilson Fisk's evil intensities, unlike Dr. Glenn, who absolutely is embracing the evil in her own slow motion fashion. I love New York and Vanessa.
Sheila.
That was good, evil dose, but you got to make sure you flip the omelet when you do it.
It's the scar above my eye that doesn't allow me to flip omelets any longer.
They did show the scar. Sometimes I don't see it, but I saw it this episode. They definitely zoomed in on it. Let's get into these comments here. We got glad they explained at last how Kingpin left prison after season 3. Right. On appeal.
That was nice. Yeah. That was good.
And on appeal, you can run for mayor.
You know how evil dudes, you know how New York works.
That's right. Absolutely. Yep. It all goes there. There's tax exempt international ports that nobody knows about. Shooters from the insane asylum can be released pending appeal because they're no longer insane. And people can get out of prison, run and win for mayor, and their appeal never has to be spoken about again because apparently the mayor controls the judicial branch as well.
Yeah, comic book logic, that's what I'll go with it. But American Dream says, powerful episode, can't wait till next season. Who we got here? Galileo died like a Pez toy. Oh, snap. And I
remember those.
My jaw was on the floor. So yeah, there's a lot of things that you kind of have to, give a side eye to, but for the sake of the story, I'll give them a pass. But of course, when Cashman comes to take out Matt, he's already gone. There's a blackout in the city. He escapes the hospital. He goes home, and none other than our boy Frank Castle returns this episode. Fresh cut, fresh face, and they're able to kick some A. And this is the scene where he specifically asks Matt, like, "Hey, why did you take the bullet for Fisk?" And Matt says he don't even know, bro. Like it was just, the writers just said, the writer said I should do it, so I did it.
No, he had to do it because in his conversation with Bullseye, the episode before, he said that the good man will defend the bad man. That was the whole and so that was the full circle. So that was the imperative. That's how Matt convinces himself that he is a good man and he's not just another mindless vigilante, as his soon-to-be ex-girlfriend pointed out that Daredevil and Muse are exactly alike.
Like, one and the same. Yeah, Jack mentioned something like that too. And that made me think, like, why was he listening to Bullseye? But, I guess if he really has like this inner kind of confliction, conflict. Yeah. So, okay.
They're all in the same fraternity. They're just rivals within it. They all pay dues to the same secret society.
Hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for being here, Joseph.
I know that guy. Fantastic.
I don't know.
So there was a really, really good fight scene that happens in this episode because the task force, they come into Matt's home with the intent to, off him. And the Punisher and Daredevil, they're kicking A throughout the whole scene. And we get one of the super graphic scenes that the showrunner kind of let us know what was coming in the finale. A lot of blood in the scene, a lot of bullets flying.
I can hear that image. I just hear and stuff like that. Yeah, no, this was fantastic. I honestly love this scene. I was only able to watch this once, so I'm going off like that one time I was able to watch it. But I love the team up. It's what I love about Daredevil and Punisher teaming up. It's something about them, like Daredevil. He's like, "I'll beat you up, but I'm not going to kill you." And Punisher's like, "Yeah, no, you can't be here anymore." And there's something about that combination that I like. I mean, there was a spot where he said, "There's a spot in this fight where Punisher says something over the lines of like, like, oh, so what? We're gonna let this guy live?" And he just shoots the guy in the head, like, just like with no remorse, just like pow pow. I don't know. I like scenes like I like the.
This is the whole fallacy of Batman logic. Batman's like, I never kill. Meanwhile, you know how many missiles he's thrown and how many people he's punched in the face with his 225 pound and like bulletproof gloves on. Like,
he's not lying.
He probably has a trail of bodies behind him longer than Genghis Khan. And Daredevil, he's doing his little spiky thing going through people's shoulders. That none of them get infected. There's no sepsis. There's no MRSA. And he's hitting people with his billy club across the face. You're telling me that not a single person has died from a metal
definitely
in the head.
He definitely had some bodies because I remember and it was a meme, but it just spoke to me. But it was like, yeah, Batman don't kill, but meanwhile he'll break someone's arms and legs and leave you in the cold, and you will just die from frostbite or something like that. But yeah, absolutely.
Kill you with medical bills because there's no.
If I can, matter of fact, that'll kill you alone, the medical bills. But there was a post I saw, and I thought it was interesting. I just want to throw it out here, and I'll throw it into the chat as well. There's like, you see Batman or Daredevil. Who would you rather deal with between the two of them?
Oh, who would I rather fight?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's hard. I honestly feel as if I could, but no, both of them are little dirty birds. They both like a woman. It depends on my best day. Maybe I can seduce them out of the fight.
Oh, so we're just saying both me and Evil Dose we're done.
You guys are toast. You guys are toast. They may take pity on me as a woman.
I think I have a better chance on living. Not that I would win a fight with Daredevil, but I think I have a better chance with Daredevil.
I agree. I think I have a better chance with Daredevil.
Okay, all right, very nice. But speaking of, mass vigilantes, we find out in this scene that we find out the killer of White Tiger, and it was what was it, Sergeant North, old Blue Eyes. He was the one behind the mask who offed White Tiger. So that was an interesting reveal. I honestly thought it was going to be Bullseye, but it turned out to be this.
I would have thought, I wouldn't have thought Bullseye. I can't think of that one officer, but it's that one particular officer. I would have thought that he was the one. He was the one. Oh, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, is it like Officer like Powman or something like that?
Yeah, I would have thought, yes, him. I would have thought he would have been the one who, because he just seemed like he takes the lead on everything. So that was more of my thought.
Let's get into these comments. They said Matt knew being good in a hopeless city would make it worse for him. Okay. Yeah, is very, religious. He is very, good versus evil. He believes in the judicial system. So that makes sense.
Right.
American Dream, that's
very Old Testament for a Catholic.
What'd you say?
He's very Old Testament for a Catholic.
Oh yeah, 949. Now.
No, that's Hammurabi. That's pre-Old Testament.
Oh snap. Okay. It's been a while since I've been to Bible study, so excuse my dust.
Luckily I'm here.
We're glad that you are here.
Yes. But again, following this scene where we get the reveal, of course, that Sergeant
Was he baking? Is that like baking powder all over him?
It's some sort of substance. Who knows what it's illegal substance. Okay, he had to hype
New York. Everyone's making pizza, aren't they?
He doesn't have powers. Okay, he got to be on that stuff to get him ready for the fight. Okay, that's what it is.
Apparently, when I was in high school, I was doing these fights wrong. But go ahead.
He uses the legal cocaine.
Oh, okay, it's illegal, right?
not an what's it called? A red hook. You can do what you want when you get there. But they end up, of course. There's a grenade that was thrown. They jump from the building, and just so happens, I guess, who was just down the street? Karen, the true villain of the show.
You gotta let this go. You gotta let this go. I'm tired of you attacking Karen. I don't have no defense about this, but stop.
Mm-hmm. Karen is making her way through the collection. First Foggy, then Matt, then the Punisher. And then she got the nerve to play like, whole white shoes, reverse harem in this episode. Like, I was thinking, well, who is it going to be? She takes them to this other place and they're, patching each other up, flirting with Matt, flirting with the Punisher. It seems like, You
got that. I got that more with her flirting with the Punisher than Matt.
What?
I definitely flirting in the research and the evidence locker or wherever they were going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exhibit A.
I don't know. It seemed more okay. So fine. I think you guys have saying some great point, but it seemed more towards Frank than Matt. But okay, maybe I have to watch it back. But fair enough.
Well, that's her point. That's her point. The point is that basically, if this was a porn, she would have gotten down with both of them, and before the show was over. And she probably would have been with Bullseye. She probably would have been with Muse. She probably would have been with White Tiger.
Not everybody. I'm telling you, if this was book talk, this would have been a whole white shoes scenario. It would have been a throuple. Shout out to
James Gandolfini Jr.
Oh yeah, he's in here too.
Oh yeah, that's Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel makes an appearance here. But it was following this scene that we find out that Karen is the one who called the Punisher to help Matt, and also that immediately following the scene, we see that they've gone to the storage area to collect some of their old case files. And this is the scene where they discover the whole reason why Fisk and Vanessa are so interested in Red Hook. It is a safe haven for crime. It's no jurisdiction there. You can do what you want. The law can't catch you. And
that's how Brooklyn really is.
And that's when her pants accidentally fell down, and she's like, "Matt, can you help me with this?"
I'm stuck in the case files, man.
Oh no, my legs! What's going on?
Wait, what kind of Life Alert commercial is this?
This is the Disney plus version.
Yeah, this is Disney After Dark. Yes. Apparently,
Double D. Okay, Double D.
Is a free zone. It's a charter from 1855, where it is technically not part of New York. It's not even part of the United States. It is international, which is international, which is absolutely a thing in the most crowded city in the world.
Yeah,
it is crowded over here.
You got to look the other way on some things. Like we were saying before the show, there at least there was a few years ago a small area in the West Coast, kind of like that, but it was just a very small intersection of land. I have to look up where exactly. I know it was in the Midwest.
At least in Yellowstone, when they go into that Wyoming county, there's no people there, and they're like, no trial of a jury by your peers because there's no people. There's no law. I mean, there is still this thing called the federal government, but okay.
Well, we got to turn a blind eye, just like Matt. We got to turn a blind eye to these these weird plot points.
Now, Matt might say that's pretty insensitive, but I see what you did there. You turn a blind eye. He might just turn around and look at you and like, okay.
But the Punisher, he of course is he goes off. I want to say he goes off to try to find Fisk or something. He hears something on the radio. He fights off all of these, task force individuals, but they kind of overtook him. They wanted to recruit him, but he doesn't like to play fair or play nice with,
He killed like 12 of them, and they're like, we're just going to take you captive instead. And hey, will you hang out with us? And why won't he? All they do is what he does. Now he can do it with a crowd.
See, okay, this is the only reason why I was thinking this makes sense, right? Was because I forget what season it was. I want to say it's season 1 of The Punisher, where we see that he was actually a part of like some sort of task force in the military. And they were like this very, black ops type of situation. And he didn't like it there. Like he didn't like being underneath the thumb and doing that kind of thing there. So I'm thinking maybe he's, thinking back at that experience. It's like, yeah, this is clearly not something that I enjoyed and not something that I'm down with. And that's probably why he didn't like it.
He only works alone, except when he works with Daredevil or Foggy or Karen or the new girlfriend or Iron Fist or Luke Cage or Jessica Jones or Spider-Man or Captain America.
Shout out to the chat. We got Christopher. Thanks for being here. I'm wondering if Spider-Man was in New York that night during the blackout.
I'm pretty sure he was there, but Disney said, like, absolutely not. You will not be on. Because they've already revealed something on the lines of like Kingpin,
or the Black Cat, or Black Canary, or Green Arrow, or Hawkeye, or the girl that's like little Hawkeye.
I'm thinking like, okay, New York is, heavily populated. Maybe they was, taking out fires in their part of New York potentially.
I'm pretty sure Spider-Man's always in New York. I'm pretty sure it just stems from a place of they're not going to have him on the show, but I was going to touch on something because y'all talking about the stuff about
Spider-Man doesn't go into international zones.
Oh yeah,
international zones.
He only stays within the 5 boroughs. Now he doesn't go into the international no superhero zone of Red Hook.
Do you guys think that they would potentially address this or kind of mention it in the next Spider-Man movie? Like, oh yeah, remember that blackout? And no, you don't think so?
I think there'll be some kind of mention of it. I do.
Okay, I do. Because he does know Daredevil. At least Peter
would remember. But to American Dream, X-Men are they're in Canada.
They're not. I don't think. Are they in New York?
No, they're in Canada.
No, Alpha Flight's in Canada. The X-Men are in upstate New York.
Oh,
really?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why the Vindicator and the other Canadian superheroes with such cool names as Puck and Sasquatch and Shaman are always trying to bring him back to Canada because he's the property of like Canadian Special Forces.
I feel like X-Men, they only come out with like superpowered individuals. They're like, okay, this is just the blackout with looters.
No, if Magneto or Juggernaut, they'll probably just come out. But I always thought they were I don't know why. I always thought they were in Canada. Okay, my bad. I was wrong.
No, I mean, they spend a lot of their time in Scotland.
Oh, there we go.
We got Christopher again said maybe they'll make a joke. Okay, in reference to Spider-Man 4, maybe referencing the blackout.
I'm sure. I mean, look, they've already showed that Matt, he was in the last Spider-Man. I'm pretty sure there'll be some kind of reference or some kind of thing mentioned in passing in a way.
He was also in She-Hulk.
Yeah, American Dream said they're in Westchester,
New York. You're right.
And he knows real estate.
So is the Fantastic Four. They're also in New York. Golly, everybody in New York.
I mean, New York. They are in New York. The Baxter Building. I don't know. I think it's in Manhattan, supposedly. But yeah.
Well, they're in an alternate universe, from
MCU wise, yes.
Yeah, MCU wise. So maybe that's the excuse for the Fantastic Four.
I mean, the West Coast Avengers were on the West Coast, but
Oh yeah. Well, I'm going to say that these people were there, but they were handling their own fires, and we just didn't see it in the show.
Well, you know what they said?
Only works alone, except when there's She-Hulk or Moon Knight.
I was going to mention, because you was talking about all this stuff. I was watching something real quick before we went live, and they were talking about like Easter eggs and stuff. But they were mentioning something about like Avengers, like because you're like, yeah, where are all these guys? But they take out big fires, like galactic fires, like because you could even say Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is Bleak Street, and I've been living in New York all my life. I think that's in the city somewhere or whatnot. But you could say, well, where's he? Why couldn't he do this? But he's like, that's not galactic. Daredevil can handle
He's
that.
not interested in city corruption with the mayor. I mean, the
Right.
martial law
You're right.
lasted one night. By the way, on an X-Men thing, I mean, Fantastic Four, dark on the top, silver on the side. Very Reed Richards, huh?
Reed
Very
Richards, hey.
You would be a fantastic Reed Richards.
Multiverse Reed Richards.
He got the blue and everything. There we go. I like that.
All right, again.
I would like to be Johnny Storm though.
Very nice.
Did you know that the Thing is Jewish?
Oh, I didn't know that. Wait, maybe I feel like
I felt like I heard that in passing, but yeah, okay. Yeah.
But to bring it back to the episode, we also see Fisk. He has the commissioner, right, in his grasp, and he gives him the full Omni-Man treatment. He squishes this man's head like a watermelon, and this is a very graphic part of the show. What did you guys think about it? Because as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, this is Omni-Man when he was, squeezing the head off of what was his name, like Red Rush, I think the name was the character.
Yeah. But matter of fact, we have a funny running joke in our chat sometime when me and you talk. And she'll send a picture of Omni-Man, and I had to put the picture of Red Rush pushing someone out the way. I didn't like that for Officer Mustache. He seemed like a very nice guy. I'm sorry, I thought he was a nice guy. So when I saw him get killed, I was like, damn, poor officer. Look at that mustache. Look at that. You can't. I'm pretty sure he didn't sound like that.
What kind of police commissioner walks into the room that's completely lined with like wax paper, like the paper that dead drops always occur in? He went total Brewmeister Smith on him, like in Strange Brew. I will crush your head.
Yeah,
and then like his hand slipped and like the jaw came off and top part. Like the crushing the physics of it didn't make sense. His eyes popped out like large margin.
Oh my god! No, Evil Dose is hilarious because I love like he looked at what you said what the paper was in the back. I'm sorry, what was it? You said you saw there was a paper certain thing in the back. You're like, why would you even go there? I love that was your initial reaction to be like, absolutely not.
Drop screening the whole room, but on the floor too, and it's on the floor.
Yeah, suspicious.
When it's hanging, it's just a construction zone. When it's on the floor, that's a drop cloth. That's for you to roll you up in.
You know what? I'm glad that you said because I have no street awareness, so I would have immediately been dead. So hearing this makes me go absolutely
clearly.
Not.
And as a superhero, you're supposed to pull your mask down, not put over the top of your head.
To be fair, I just thought I'm very pretty. That's all. So I'm sorry.
Well, also we have. You guys, let's bring it back to the episode. We have Daniel. He's again doing this dirty work. He's trying to blackmail these city council members who are apparently, they are apparently, scamming and scheming and smuggling. So, all's fair, I guess, but still.
Layers of corruption into corruption, right at the core.
Right. And we also see Daredevil. They show up to Red Hook trying to, I guess, confront Fisk at this point, which made no sense to me because Daredevil's hurt. He's bringing Karen, who has no ability, no power. She's just, why would you bring her?
To accidentally have sex.
At the pier.
Dun, dun, dun,
dun. But she was able to convince him that, this isn't the time. And that's when we see a little bit of flash forward to him saying he's going to build like a team or they need an army. And they show the army. And it's just a bunch of randos at Josie's. I'm like, it's got the bartender. We got a couple sprinkle of cops. We got Karen, Cherry. Like what kind of, I honestly thought that this is where they were going to reintroduce the Defenders potentially.
I mean, I still think we're getting the Defenders in season 2 of this show. I think this is his way of just trying to have people. So I think of like Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2, and he says, I forget what the Electro's character's full name is, but anyway, he said, "You're my eyes and my ears," and I think that's why he has like the police officers and regular people, but we're gonna get the defenders. I totally get that, 100%.
Yeah, but as a closing scene they should have given us they should have at least had, "Am I late?" and like Jessica Jones walks in with that lame Iron Fist guy.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. Actually,
Oh, that would have been cool. That would have been.
But there is one little like mid-credit scene where we get to see Frank, and he's in chains, and he breaks out of bondage. We see, and that is I'm not sure. I do know a few months ago they did say that the Punisher is going to get his own like special. So
was that cop guard though?
To come up right to Frank Castle and shake his hand, like, yeah.
What do you think? He really wants to shake your hand? He just killed like 25 of your pals.
But they're fanboys,
They were pals. Yeah, I can believe that. I was gonna say I don't think they're very much pals. I think they
He's guarding people in dog cages in an underground hidden bunker. I'm pretty sure he's down with whatever secret oaths and handshakes they all had. So and like the swordsman is down there, who by the way was much better.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's too distinguished of a gentleman to be locked up like that. Let that man out, let Jack out of there.
Yes, let me out.
I beseech you, sir.
Release me.
I honestly hope, and someone was talking about maybe in season 2 there's some kind of like team up with him and Punisher, and I hope we get a little bit more of Jack, because I feel like we didn't get a whole lot, and some of the stuff that I saw with him as swordsman, like once again I wasn't super familiar with him until the stuff from Hawkeye and this series and stuff like that, but I hope that we get a little bit more of him, because it's something about him that I'm like, yeah, I would like to see more of swordsman.
If there's someone to sacrifice, it should have been the swordsman, not the White Tiger. I mean, what is more useless than the guy with a sword? Come on.
Oh, you wasn't a fan.
What is this, freaking Zorro?
Poor guy.
Who's Zorro?
But I do have a question for you guys.
He's the gay blood.
Do you feel as if for the average everyday New Yorker in this universe,
I'm from Canada.
how would you feel about Fisk being the mayor? Because he seems to, when he first got in, what really was his accomplishment as mayor? I know he fixed the pothole. He did that in like a few of the first episodes. But outside of that, there's so much has went wrong since he became mayor. We have, a serial killer was on the loose, a prolific serial killer at that. We have the blackouts, the police state, this curfew that was implemented.
An assassination attempt on him at a party guarded by his elite units.
Yeah. So, do you think Fisk is getting reelected?
Honestly, would he be reelected as mayor? As a New Yorker, part of me says yes, he would be reelected. I could see that. I could see him being real. There was a mayor, and I know it was in Washington. I can't think of his name. Anyway, he was doing
Marion Barry.
Yes. Oh, you already know. And
you said Washington. Oh, DC.
I was hoping it was DC. I mean, I'm hoping I got this all together.
No,
but he got reelected
from DC. You say DC.
Now you're making me question my whereabouts.
After he served his sentence. Yes, you're exactly right. The thing about it is, I would say that he'd get elected because he was efficient, but he isn't efficient and effective. You just outlined all the things that went wrong and he only wore like 2 different outfits during this time. So it's like a complete disaster. I mean, listen, there was a season of Battlestar Galactica, the reboot, where it was like 2 on the head that it was a commentary about the Iraq War and they lost the plot about Battlestar Galactica in there. This was very much a commentary on right now. And since it's a commentary on right now, the United States of America, will he get reelected? Obviously. Clearly. Clear as day. 100%. And he's gonna take Greenland, which is our little Red Hook cognate.
Right. Okay, I can see the parallels. But that was the episode. That was the season finale. Excuse me. Now, how did
you think that when Vanessa set up the Russian guy to take out Fisk, that it was to set up the Russian guy? Or do you think that she was hoping that he would succeed? Because I was confused about whether or not Fisk found out, knew it, and just didn't care because he loves her so much, or that she was serving up the competition to Fisk on a silver platter.
She was serving them up. She was serving it up. They do it together. That's what I took from it. But overall, for the season, how did you guys feel about the season? For me, it was a mixed bag. I do like this very last episode. It felt very cinematic in a way. I felt like we just watched like a whole movie. I do think that they ended up tying it together, but not in a very neat bow, but enough that I'm interested to see season 2. And I'm willing to give it some grace, given that there was that whole turnover of the guard mid, shooting, and they had to like stitch things together and make things work with the new storyline. But with that said, I'm excited for season 2 because it'll be one crew, one showrunner, it's all will be seamless. So doesn't have to be any stitching, doesn't have to be any merging of conflicting storylines. So I'm very excited for season 2. But with that being said, I feel like this season was a little patchy at best.
What do you got, Evos?
The appeal of Daredevil is that he's human, and he's not a superhero. He's got exceptional abilities, and some of which are superhuman in the radar and his heightened senses and all that. But he's basically human and vulnerable. What I don't like about this series, from the original iteration to this one, is that he heals like he's Wolverine. So terrible things happen to his body, and within hours he's back fighting again, and that doesn't fit with the character. That's a bit much for me. In pre-production, I was talking about things that probably annoy maybe 1 out of 1,000 people like me and not everybody else. For instance, how when last we saw their firm, they were barely struggling. One of their partners just died. They barely have any clients. And then a year later, they hired the assistant district attorney, and they've got this beautiful office suite, tons and tons of space, all modern Art Deco'd out. And they've got people working there all over the place, milling about. They have a investigator who's a retired, 40-year homicide cop. That doesn't, and as far as I can tell, they have no paying clients. I mean, things like that. I find it very hard to get. I'm still caught up on that, let alone all the other stuff. Like the violence scenes, they're great. I know there's some people that are just excited to see hard R violence and gore, on their TV screen at home on a TV show. However, folks, we've had cable since 1981, so that ain't that special anymore. So I don't know. I'm like you, see, I think it's a mixed bag. I'll watch it because I think I have to. I mean, I didn't hate it. Like Agatha all along, or I hated Hawkeye, I hated She-Hulk, I hated some of these other shows. So I mean, it was okay. It's just like
Hawkeye.
Give him some of that super soldier serum or something to make me believe the healing abilities.
Honestly, that was a critique of mine as well. I feel like they definitely upped his powers this era of Daredevil, because I didn't feel like he was that super powered in the Netflix version. But Jack, what did you think overall?
That rifle, the what's his face? What's the guy who tried to kill
Bullseye?
Bullseye. All right, that rifle that Bullseye used to try to shoot Kingpin. That is a high-powered sniper rifle. That bullet would have gone through him, caused tons and tons of damage, but it would have gone into the Kingpin too, and probably out the Kingpin. I mean, that is a military-grade rifle. And how the hell how did he get out of prison? I saw it. He shot his tooth into someone, and apparently, if you throw scissors into people's foreheads, that'll go through because he's such a strong dart thrower. And he gets into a uniform. How many guards are there? Like 50,000 guards when he gets into the I'm leaving bus. Nobody recognizes his story. He's probably the most famous prisoner there. Nobody recognizes his goddamn face and says something's up there.
Too many questions. They said, don't ask all those questions. That's what they said.
Don't ask the white party. How's he get in there? I mean, there's security, all these. And by the way, the one guy, not the leader guy, not the scruffy Irish potato who you thought was the shooter. The other guy the one guy who was the survivor, but they pinned him by his arms at the end.
Okay, yeah, North, Sergeant North.
North is far too beautiful to be a corrupt cop.
Yeah, blue-eyed soul. That's what it is.
The freaking guy is gorgeous. He would have been. He'd be like an Armani model. What is going on in this world?
Thanks for being here, Dex. Thank you.
Yeah, get out of here, you.
But Jack, thoughts on the season?
I enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of things that could have made this show better and stuff like that, but I've enjoyed all these episodes. I mean, there were some episodes better than others. I'm just glad that we have Daredevil back. I mean, I was a big fan of the series on Netflix, and yeah, I get what you're saying about how on Netflix it was more street level, and now it seemed like they kind of up to his power in a way where he's more durable and stuff like that. And some things I'm just not going to question because when I question things it doesn't turn out well.
No,
so but I enjoyed it. It was a fun watch, and I look forward to season 2. And I do wish that some of the stuff they left where we didn't know things, but I look forward to get the Defenders back in season 2. I thought Defenders should have had a season 2 personally. And that Black Daredevil, I'm wearing this mask as a way to say, as a reminder that I will be cosplaying as Daredevil, but I need that black suit going. So once we get that going, I will wear that.
Do you want the same actors for the Defenders, or do you want new actors? Because I mean, the guy who played Iron Fist sucked. Michael Coulter's too old. And even though Bobby Lashley is too old, he's perfect for it. The Jessica Jones woman should be all right, I guess.
So wait, how old is?
But I feel like it only makes sense to bring them back because they brought back Karen and Foggy, and it'll feel weird if they just recast them.
I would have been okay if they recast Karen with like Sansa Stark or something. That woman from True Blood, she does nothing for me. Nothing.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry, I don't because you said an actress, but to answer your question, I would like if we kept the original cast. I mean, I get that time has went on and you get a little older, but I do think keep Iron Fist. Okay, the truth is not a fan of Iron Fist.
Talk about Iron Fist for a second, because this guy trained in the martial arts his entire life and was able to defeat a dragon. He doesn't have any muscle tone on him whatsoever. Nothing.
So it's not his act. It's not his acting. He's just like more.
That was acting sucked too, but he also his body is terrible. He looks like the ultimate softie. I mean, not even an ab, nothing, not a vein, nothing. He's soft as a baby, except he's skinny. You train in martial arts your entire life. You look like Shang-Chi.
Yeah, together, but we'll find out. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for liking the video if you like the video. And before we go, Evil Dose, tell the folks where they could find you.
Oh my God, you can find me at so many places. So if you just subscribe to Garden of Thought, you will generally get 3 shows a week. So the weekend show called Garden of Thought, formerly Garden of Doom, is sort of if you turn on the History Channel or the Discovery Channel like at 7 p.m. and leave it on until like 3 a.m. The midweek show, formerly called Garden Views, now also called Garden of Thought, is more like if you put on 48 hours or 60 minutes, but there was one topic, one interview, one thing that we go into. And then the third show is GOT presents The Gospel of Thomas with my co-host, Mr. Thomas from Major League Wrestling. And we talk to people in and around wrestling, usually about non-wrestling things, but wrestling creeps in. There's also shows in the back catalog called The Book of Black when PJ Black was my co-host, and he may be again. So let's see. But coming up, we've got Ikiro Kwan from Contra and MLW Wrestling. We've got Tiffany Nieves, who's a NWA champion. We've got Kaya McKenna scheduled, and all sorts of fun things. Lufisto's been on, Tyrus has been on, EC3, Aaron Stevens, who most of you might know as Damian Santa. By the way, Aaron Stevens was also on Garden of Thought with him and my friend Reverend Dr. David Perry talked about the occult and Shakespeare. So Damian Sando's been on my show twice. So all sorts of fun stuff like that. But if you want more me, this very weekend I'll be doing the Stand and Deliver review show on the Drew Yari Experience. You can find all this on the Wrestling Soup Network and on Wrestling Soup. So I finally made it to the big boy table. So me and White Chocolate, we do the Evolve review show for the Wrestling Soup Network. And when there is a SmackDown review show, I'm on the SmackDown review show.
Nice.
This
All
this
right.
guy is so busy, and I'm glad that you took the time out to be with us because even though you are fantastic. Matter of fact, when I
This is
have
my wackiest project of all. I'm not even going to bother your audience with it right now because it's still too far away. But I'm going to tell both of you about it if you want after production because it's
I
so
love it.
zany. It's so zany that it's only something. Oh, I forgot to tell you the most exciting person who I had on the show. Dario Cueto from Lucha Underground was on the show. And now we email with buddies, and he's going to get Katrina and the Lick of Death on. We're going to get Carly Perez on. Maybe both of them are
All
going to come on together.
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, check Evil Dose out. His link is in the description, and join us for our next show. Daredevil's over. Let us know in the comments what you would like us to watch, and we will see you soon. And goodbye. See ya.
Stay well, my friends.